Okay, there's one meeting that could change the face not only of your day, but of your entire practice. Want to know about it? Well, listen up. Okay, welcome back to our tips. My name's Dan Brown. I'm the Senior Service Consultant here at MGE Management Experts. And today I'm going to talk to you about a very essential tool for you. And I'm talking to you, the doctor owner. I'm talking to you, the office manager, and anybody in a management position for the practice and its production. What is this meeting? This is called your morning huddle. That's what is commonly referred to it. Here at MGE, we call it your morning production meeting. Now let's just take that up at the beginning. Some people call it a morning huddle. Some people call it a morning meeting. Why do we call it a morning production meeting? Well, what's the purpose of this meeting? It's got a couple different purposes. Obviously, get everybody together. Obviously, wake everybody up. Start the day, put some smiles on faces, get everybody rolling. But what can it become if you don't know what it's supposed to look like? Well, a lot of things other than a production meeting. For example, commonly see this in practices. Get together, everybody's talking with coffee, maybe some pastries, talking about Mrs. James who's coming in today and she's gonna bring her poodle, it's so cute. And we love Mrs. James and we love her poodle, but that's not the purpose of this meeting. The purpose of this meeting is one thing, coordination around achieving higher production. Now, another thing that creeps into this meeting often is clinical coordination. And while clinical coordination is necessary, that isn't necessary at the expense of your entire team. And I've seen practices with 27 people sitting there while they're talking about what cement to use over here and what material over there. You are paying for everybody sitting in this meeting. That's expensive. They don't need to know those things. And what we say at MGE often is keep the clinical kind of on an ad hoc basis, where one-on-one, a person needs to go get some data, they can go to that person. And if you really do have a large practice and you have a clinical team and they need clinical coordination, well, have a clinical coordination meeting very specifically with those individuals. But this morning meeting, your morning huddle, what we call the morning production meeting, well, there are some things that are so important and it can change the face of your practice. Okay, so we've talked about what not to do there. Okay, but what are we supposed to do? Well, that one's simple. Let's talk about what we want. Why are we there at all? Why are we doing this meeting at all? Well, again, to get the team there. Make sure everybody is bright and shiny and ready to go. So doctor, office manager, anybody running that meeting, you gotta be there crisp, you gotta be there smiling, you gotta be there alert. What you do and say at that meeting, how you do it and how you say it, boy, you're setting the pace for the practice. So if this is you at the morning meeting, good morning everybody. All right. Oh, is it already Tuesday? All right, woohoo, go team. You just kind of set the temperature of the place. And it's not a great way to start. So, collect yourself. Walk into that meeting. If you got anything on your mind, get that off your mind before you walk in that door. So that's kind of step one. Doctor, owner, office manager, anybody running that meeting, you are the shining example of what you want every one of your team to look like, be like, talk like, do like for the rest of the day. So get yourself in and around that. If it takes a little bit of energy from you, okay, that's what it takes. If you need to have a cup of coffee before you do it, do so. If you need to have a couple espresso shots, do that too, whatever. Just realize that meeting, you're setting that pace, and they're gonna do and talk like you do and talk. Okay, next point. Why are we there? Well, in addition to getting things started, we're there to coordinate around the production of the office. And what are we talking about, production of the office? Well, here at MGE, we say there are three main statistics you need to be thinking with. And you're gonna learn all about that if you come on board with MGE. Start talking to our specialists, we'll help you out with this. But these are your production, your collections, and your new patients. So, what are we talking about? Well, you are at a certain point so far this week and this month, and you should have goals laid out for this month. So say you want to be doing 60 or 70,000 or 100,000 or 150,000 in collections or 40,000. I don't know where you're at in the whole game of your ownership and the practice production. But let's pick whatever number that is. Let's call it 75,000. We're trying to hit $75,000 for the month. Okay, well, we've set that goal. We've got bonuses set up and incentives and all that. Hopefully you do. Good. Where are we at on that so far? We're 10 operational days into the month, and you probably have about 20 operational days. Some practices a couple more, some practices a couple less, but let's call it 20 operational days for the month. You're about halfway through that month. So you should be about halfway through to your production target. Are you? You should know that, and you should know that before you walk into that meeting. That is not something you're working out with the calculator in front of your group. Where are you at with your new patients? Where are you at for your production? So production, collections, and new patients, you want to have your fingers on the pulse of these numbers, and you should be able to figure out on a daily basis where do you need to be. Good. So we want to be doing 40 new patients a month. That's our target for this month. We're halfway through the month. We should be at 20 new patients so far. If we're at 10, we got some stuff to do. And we're going to make that known. This is time to bring up to the team. We got some referrals to ask for. Hey, Janie, you're seeing Mrs. Biggins today. Mrs. Biggins has a sister she's talked about getting in here, has fear of dentists and such. We're going to work with Mrs. Biggins, get her sister on the phone and get her scheduled to come in. These are the kind of things that we're doing. We're naming very specific patients and very specific actions to bring about very specific result with each of these main metrics that we're tracking: production, collections, and new patients. We can work backwards from where we need to be, where we want to be, where we should be right now, where we are right now. If we're ahead of the game, we're, clapping and well done, team. Keep it rocking. And then let's take up. Well, now that we know what the big broad numbers are, where we are so far in the month, where we're going, then we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about today specifically. And again, this isn't clinical. This is who's coming in, what's the outstanding treatment, who's going to be presenting, who's going to talk to that person. That person came in last time, they needed financing help. This person needed a co-signature and they went home to talk to their mom, but they never answered their phone again, but they're coming in today. Great. Are we prepared to talk to that person and get that person on the phone with their mom and get that co-signature so we can wrap up the treatment and that person can get the treatment they need to be better, healthier, and live a longer life? Again, you are orienting your team to exact named products that you're to achieve that day. Now, how long is this meeting? Well, again, here at MGE, we teach you all of that. That's all part of the Power program here at MGE. But this meeting should take you about 15 minutes. Now, if you haven't been doing some of the things I've been talking about, well, that might take you a little bit just to kind of get your rhythm, get your pattern, make sure you're doing these things. So call 15 minutes, turns 20, maybe 22 minutes. But then you get this down and you get a pattern, it gets efficient. Again, if you need help with any of this, this is what we do all day long. Just like clinical dentistry, doctor, we know practice management. And we'll walk you through the steps about how to put this thing together, and it's actually fun. Your team will love it. Your team will love it because they will achieve their goals. When they achieve their goals, well, doctor, owner, you're achieving your goals. And I know you. I know you quite well. We know you very well here at MGE. When your team achieves their goals and you achieve the things that you know you're capable of, you take care of your team, don't you? You have and you always will. The only hesitancy you have in issuing big bonuses is that it needs to be there to be able to issue those bonuses. So this is a tool to help you get there. Once you get there, make certain that you're taking care of your team with it and celebrate loudly when you did it. Now, some other things that our MG clients do and they take up at that meeting are things such as Google reviews, naming out exact specific patients who are coming in who've not yet left a Google review and who's going to talk to that person about it. And of course, patient testimonials. Both of those are two key marketing elements that if you've seen any of my other tips about the necessity of Google reviews, Yelp reviews, and all sorts of reviews, and the necessity of patient testimonials, you know this as a needful tool to bring about what's called social proof, people talking about you loud and lively about how awesome your work is, rather than you just talking about you. So Google reviews, Yelp reviews, testimonials, who's going to talk to that patient and who's going to actually assist that patient in getting it, and what patient is outstanding, and hey, we've got this large case that we did and that person, it changed their life. Great, we want to put some time aside for a testimonial. We might even want to call that patient, make certain that they got a few extra minutes so we can pull them aside, talk to them about, hey, we'd like to have you share your experience, because there's a bunch of people out there that were in your exact same shoes, but they're a little too fearful about making a decision. And would you help those patients out there who haven't had the courage that you've had by sharing your experience about your new smile? Would you do that? Fantastic. It's not, are they doing that for you? It's doing it for the patients out there that won't get up off the couch to come to the dentist. So get those reviews, get those testimonials. And again, you got about 15 minutes. So this has to be snap and pop. It has to be organized. It can't be weird. It can't be, you are here and if you don't do this, you chash you. This is not what we're doing. We are not being Terminator here. We are being a great example of what we want our staff to look like, be like, smile like in front of the patients for the day. And here's the good news. We have an exact handout of how to run your morning production meeting. We'll put a link in that down below. And if this is helpful and you like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Enable all notifications. You'll get tips like this routinely. If you've got a question or another thought, something you do successfully in your morning production meeting, see what I did there? Your morning production meeting, then we would love to hear what you do successfully. So go ahead and put a comment below. We are always learning just as you are always learning. My name's Dan Brown, and I hope that was helpful. We'll see you on the next tip.